Hello fellow crafters, builders, and artisans in general. Thank you for joining me on another laser brain tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how I built my very own mini He-Man inspired castle by converting a playset that I purchased from Family Dollar. So let's jump right in and get our hands dirty. I came across this really interesting little dream castle a few months back over at Family Dollar. And as soon as I saw that thing, I just had to pick it up because I knew I could turn it into something really cool. In this case, I'm going to turn it into a cross between Castle Grayskull and one of my favorites, the Slime Pit. Now you're probably wondering what my fascination is with little girls' toys. Never mind that. Let's not focus on that. Okay, so I had some old Halloween decorations. It's a little like Reaper type thing that I picked up at Family Dollar a while back. And I was thinking, you know what? I could definitely use pieces from this to construct this He-Man inspired castle. And of course the playset includes the standard miniature figurines that usually comes with them. They're actually not too bad. I mean, they're fairly detailed. It would be ideal for, you know, any little girl or boy that wants to play with this set. However, I really don't have any use for these in this build, so I'm gonna either save them for a future build or give them away. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure right now, but the detail of these figurines is actually pretty decent. It's not bad. I mean, when you consider what I paid for this playset, $5, I mean, you just can't beat it. Pretty well constructed, made of fairly sturdy plastic, and yeah, I'm just gonna move on with the build. Now the castle had a surprising amount of detail to it. It's actually very nice, and if you notice, when you open it up, it opens up just like a Castle Grayskull playset. There's a lot of empty space on the inside. So I'm definitely going to have to add some interior detailing on my next build. For now, I'm just going to focus on putting this thing together. I popped off the flag posts off from the top by simply prying them off with a pair of clippers.
Okay, so I went ahead and took off the skeleton head from the Halloween decoration, and as you can see, it's made from cheap hollow plastic, so it was easy for me to just cut it open with an X-Acto blade. And I carefully cut around it to make sure that I didn't accidentally remove the jaw. So that way we've got an entire piece to put on the front of the castle.
I decided to use these little Halloween skeleton hands that I had on hand because I felt that the scale was a whole lot better than the scale of the hands that were on the Halloween decoration. So these will definitely fill out the space a lot better than the other hands that I was originally going to go with. So let's just rip these right open and get to work. I forgot to mention that I picked these up over at Dollar Tree. Right now, at this time of year, it's almost Halloween, so they should be available right around the time of the publishing of this video. So there shouldn't be any issues finding them. And if you cannot find them at your local Dollar Tree, you should be able to find them online at dollartree.com. Now let's turn up the heat a little so we can mold and shape the skeleton hands into the positions that we need them at once we attach them to the face of the castle. What sorcery is this? Continue reheating the hands as much as you need to until you get them into the desired position. I then took a hand drill and carefully drilled holes inside of each skeleton hand. I then placed them on the face of the castle on each side and then drilled a corresponding hole on each side so that I could attach them with mini machine screws. I have a nice little stash of machine screws that I saved from old broken toys and Nerf guns that I kit bashed on previous builds. I prefer to use screws in some of my builds because it holds the pieces together a whole lot better than just relying on glue alone. And now it's time for the age-old aluminum foil trick. You just stuff it inside the skull, kind of test fit it on the face of the castle. Then apply a thin bead of hot glue around the edges of the opening. Then take the skull and press it firmly into place. Now be careful when you're gluing the skull onto the face of the castle that you don't glue over the area where it opens, because if you do, it's going to be very difficult to open the castle after the fact. Begin detailing the castle with different grime and drippings all over, or whatever designs come to mind. In this case, I like to put a lot of moss detailings and slime drippings all over the place, because after all, this is my creation, so I get to do it how I like. Anyhow, I just continue adding detailing all around the windows and on top of the roof to cover up the holes where the flagpoles were originally placed. And then I add detailing to the hands and the face. You can notice, see all the ooze all over the skull and the hands. The trick to working with hot glue, as you're building up layers, you want to be patient and give them time to solidify as you're building it up and adding the details that you like. I prefer to use hot glue guns with fine tips because they're much easier to create tinier detailing versus using a regular glue gun. I had some of these little, I don't know what are these, like little tooth-shaped beads, and I decided to use these for the castle to kind of help punch up the sinister look of the castle. I also continue to build up layers of hot glue to kind of add more detailing and add those dripping effects and that oozing effects in between the castle pillars. The castle towers, I'm sorry, they're called castle towers, not pillars. I don't know what I'm thinking here. And then, of course, comes everyone's favorite part of the process, the painting. I painted the entire castle with a base coat of dark brown and black. And then I went ahead and went over it with cotton balls and Q-tips dipped in acetone. And then I carefully wiped away the paint in the areas that I wanted to expose. That way some of the underlying color will be revealed and add more depth to the overall look. Well, there you have it. I think it came out pretty sharp. What do you all think? Don't forget to join me for part 2 of this tutorial, where I go over all the detailing that I do for the interior of the castle. And by then I should have a fairly interesting name for it when I'm done. And remember, my friends,
honest men do an honest day's work, or I destroy their village.
Cabron out.